Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for tonight. We have a 10-game slate today on a Saturday. Happy Saturday. It's Halloween weekend. We also have MMA tipping off in just under an hour by the time I'm making this video. So it'll be a fun day of DFS. There'll be a football tomorrow. I'll have a video out for that later today. But I wanted to touch on this 10-game basketball slate because there's a lot of options, and I think a lot of ways that this slate could still shape out depending on some news that we get. But otherwise, let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate if you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Prize Picks hasn't really posted their props for today, so they only posted the first game. So once they update the board, we'll have some picks out on Twitter. If you wanted to try out Prize Picks, you can use my promo code. It's at the top of the screen. Process for deposit match up to $100. And let's get started with the point guard plays now. So you have three at the top end above $9,000: Steph Curry, Trae Young, and Ja Morant. Trae Young has a pretty good matchup against Philly. Ja Morant has a tough matchup against Miami. Their defense is legit. They're on a back-to-back. Ja Morant's at home, so there are some advantages favoring Ja Morant. The price tag is also a lot better compared to like Steph Curry, but Curry has the best matchup out of the top three. It's not even close. Matchup against the Thunder, which are bottom three in defensive rating so far this season. Curry can light it up. He almost took 30 shots last game. He played huge minutes in that close game, which you're going to get out of Curry every single game that is competitive, and he's been really filling up the assist and rebounding, contributing in all areas of the stat sheet. Just doesn't stop moving when he's out there on the floor. And another great spot against the Thunder. He put up only 39 in that most recent game against them. Lou Dort was locked in on him. You would expect Lou Dort to be on Steph Curry again today for the whole game. But, maybe Curry gets the best of him this time. Dort did hold him in the first meeting, but we all know Curry can light it up against anybody. Donovan Mitchell looks better today compared to usual because Mike Conley is out. So you'll see Donovan Mitchell. They'll probably start Joe Ingles, so Ingles and Mitchell will share some of the ball handling responsibilities. You'll see a little bit of an uptick in assists for Donovan Mitchell. Hopefully you do. And the matchup against Chicago should be a close one. Chicago, they played some pretty close games, or they played some pretty low-scoring games, but they haven't faced a lot of like high-powered offenses. Utah's their true real test. They did face the Knicks, who have been really good. But the Knicks offense, they're really good for defense as well. So Donovan Mitchell, 87, pretty good price tag. I think this one could be a little bit higher scoring of a game, although I don't think it's my favorite one to stack up. But I do want to get a couple of pieces from, or at least one piece probably from the Jazz side, without Mike Conley. Then Malcolm Brogdon sat last night. He's probably going to sit again today because they ruled him out well in advance for yesterday's game. And it's a back-to-back. The Pacers just can't catch a break with some of these injuries. They're off to a terrible start. LeVert missed last night. There's a chance he could play. Maybe he returns today. Don't really have any idea. But even if he does play, you can't really play him at 77 because he's going to be on a minutes limit, you would think. The 7K range, I like SGA a lot. 73. He's still underpriced. He should be 8K plus for the role that he has. He plays huge minutes. He's taken 19 shots in 3 straight games. So you're getting at least 15 plus shot attempts off for SGA. A guy that can get you some rebounds, can get you some assists, and maybe chip in some of these defensive stats here and there. Hasn't done a great job with the steals this year, but he just plays so many minutes, has such a high usage rate that 73 is just too cheap of a price tag in a high-scoring game against Golden State. So he's my favorite point guard option compared to like Lonzo, compared to Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, who's looked really bad so far as a Miami Heat. He's shooting 27% from the floor and 14% from distance. Yikes. D'Angelo Russell is only 68. He's such a good tournament play because he gives you such a high ceiling and such a low floor at times. But this price tag is really good at only $6,800 at home against a Denver team that is on a back-to-back. And Denver is a pretty good defensively, but I really don't care that much when you have a price tag this cheap for a guy with 40-point plus upside, like 45-point, close to 50-point upside. He takes a lot of shots still. He plays good minutes in close games, assuming he doesn't have like 7 turnovers like he did against the Pelicans in just 29 minutes. But Russell is never really know what you're going to get out of him, but when his price tag is that cheap, I'll have some interest. So I like Russell a lot. And then the bottom 6K range, Garland had a really good game yesterday, double-double for him in 32 minutes. The Cavs have been fun, but that game is also one that I'm not looking to target too much of. I think it's going to be kind of like a lower scoring game. You do have some good price tags on like Garland, on Sexton, and on like DeAndre Ayton, so those would be like 3 pieces you could look to. Sexton at 64, they just have a lot of options now. They brought in Markkanen. Evan Mobley's looking like an absolute stud. Ricky Rubio off the bench, getting a lot of usage off the bench and taking a lot of point guard minutes. So Sexton's price tag I think will continue to be in the 6K range. I don't really see him being the 7K plus player that we saw last year. 5K range, Clarkson looks good. He's going to get a little bit more minutes and usage without Mike Conley. He can put up 30 plus. Kemba's been amazing in terms of just shooting the basketball. 18 of 31 from distance, shooting almost 60% from 3. That's led to some big fantasy games, even though he's not top 30 minutes since his rematch against Boston, or his revenge game against Boston. He's still a viable tournament play just because how good of a matchup it is against the Pelicans. But you don't think he would shoot. He's not going to continue shooting that well. He's a good shooter from 3, but maybe steadies around like 40% or 45%, but he's not going to be shooting 60% over the season. Jalen Suggs, TJ McConnell. I like TJ McConnell today to bounce back. If there's no Brogdon, I know he sucked last night, 4 of 14 shooting, but he got so many opportunities, 33 minutes. He just couldn't buy a shot. 8, 4, 4, and 2 steals. It was a pretty close game for much of it. Pacers got off to a good start, and then they just went ice cold. Like Sabonis had like 20-plus fantasy points in the first few minutes, in like the first 8 or 9 minutes, and then he did nothing the rest of the game. But McConnell, I would think he would look to get his teammates more involved in this one. It's a good spot against Toronto. Toronto's games usually be good for fantasy, even though they kind of limit teams to scoring a little bit. But we saw yesterday the Magic players, a lot of them went nuts against Toronto. They're on a back-to-back. Both teams on a back-to-back, but both teams kind of need a win, especially the Pacers. Not really Toronto, but Pacers do need a win if they want to still kind of... I mean, it's still super early in the game or in the season, but the Pacers don't want to keep losing like they have been. McConnell is just too cheap. His price tag went down. So if there's no Brogdon and he starts again, I'm going to be all over him. I hope people jump off of him because of his game last night, because I would be super glad if we get McConnell at lower ownership today because of last game. And then nothing we're looking at too crazy here. Like DeLon Wright, he's $3,900. Somehow DraftKings had him priced above 7K the first game, so he's priced where he should be. He's maybe even above, a little bit overpriced. The one thing that's been surprising is that Goran Dragic has been out of the rotation the last couple of games for the Raptors. So a team that plays even a tight, like a small rotation, a tight rotation, is playing even a tighter rotation right now. Because for some reason Dragic, because I don't know if he wants to get out of there, but he's just not getting minutes. And that's it. Shake Milton is down here as well. Let me see his price tag. He played good off the bench. He's $3,200. He's going to continue to get some good work, so he makes sense as a tournament player, even maybe a cash game play as well. He played 16 in his first game. That should continue to go up. Maybe if Maxey struggles a little bit, then you can see Milton kind of overtake him. But Milton at 32 would be a good value play. That's something I would like to get to. At shooting guard, you have Donovan Mitchell. I like him. He's fine. I like Mitchell more than Zach LaVine today. Van Fleet is okay as well, 81. His price tag is kind of where it should be. I kind of like some of his teammates a little bit more, but just because Van Fleet plays huge minutes, but sometimes his shot doesn't fall, and that can kind of kill you. But you're getting good price tags on like Scotty Barnes here, so I kind of like getting to him over Van Fleet, but he'll probably be my second guy that I look to. D'Angelo Russell looks really good at 68, just in terms of a great price tag for a guy with a huge ceiling. I like him more than like Wiggins and Derek White than Alexander Walker. They got Josh Hart back, so his minutes might come down a little bit, so I'm not that interested. Will Barton had a good game last night in limited minutes, 27, because they were up by like 35, 40 points. Chris Duarte's 56, depending on Karis LeVert. If LeVert is out, he looks okay. If LeVert's in, he doesn't look that good at 56. And then same thing with some of these Grizzlies guys. If Dylan Brooks happens to make his debut today, that's going to hurt Melton. It's going to hurt Desmond Bane a little bit. And the price tags are slowly rising. We'll see. Yeah, we haven't gotten a word if he's going to play or not, so keep an eye on that. Jalen Suggs, sub 5K, looks okay. I mean, the matchup is solid against Detroit. Cade Cunningham is expected to make his debut, but he's probably going to be limited, so he's priced at 36. A little bit of a different story than it is on DraftKings. Than it is on FanDuel. So that's going to be something I would like to get to. $3,600 Cade Cunningham making his debut starting. Even if he just plays like 20-something minutes, I think I would like to get to that. Plug him in at shooting guard. I did not know he was that cheap on DraftKings. Cade Cunningham, 36. You have Joe Ingles. I like him as well. Joe Ingles. Josh Jackson is now like unplayable now that Cade Cunningham is back. Well, at least he's not unplayable, but I'm not going to be playing him. I'd rather go to Cade Cunningham, even though he's going to be limited. in his debut, but even 20, 25 minutes, he shouldn't be $3,600. There's a reason he was taken first overall. Detroit's expecting him to lead their team for years to come. Moving on to small forward, Jimmy Butler's 86. He played really good last night. Maybe Bam Adebayo was questionable heading into the game. He ended up playing really well. Maybe he sits on a back-to-back. Who knows? But if that does happen, Butler would look great. Middleton looks fine against the Spurs. There's no Jrue Holiday. There's no Bobby Portis today. OG, $6,900. He's always gives you a huge upside. Just without Siakam right now getting blocks and steals, especially against the Pacers who play at a good pace. But I think I might like to get to 6,000 Scotty Barnes instead. Like that price tag on Barnes. I think he can get you at least 6x, and we've seen him already numerous times this year drop. It was like 6.5, 7, 8x upside at his price tags. He even had like a 10x game when he was $4,500 early in the season. And his minutes are really super high. All the starters play big minutes, except for sometimes Precious Achiuwa doesn't play a lot. But Scotty Barnes, you're looking at like 36 to 38 minutes out of him in any sort of close game. 4K range, nothing crazy right now. Depending on some news, maybe you can look to like Jordan Noir with no Bobby Portis today. That's basically it. Maybe you can take a shot on like Jeremy Lamb if there's no Karis LeVert today. Moving on to power forward, Giannis at 11-4 had a huge game against the Timberwolves last time out. Played 35 minutes, put up almost 80 fantasy points. Now he's matched up against the Spurs, which are not going to be good. They don't have anybody to slow down Giannis. They probably will put Jakob Poeltl on him, which they did against the first time out, and Jakob Poeltl did do a good job against Giannis. He got him into foul trouble. But still, he only played 30 minutes in that game, almost had a triple-double. So Jakob Poeltl did do a good job, but if Giannis wasn't in foul trouble that game, he probably would have had a triple-double and put up north of 60. So I think Giannis is good, especially now that we have some value plays here. We can get to Giannis if you wanted to. If not, you can maybe go to Sabonis. Sabonis has been a little bit frustrating so far this year. He gets up to great starts in the first quarter, and then he just does nothing the rest of the way. Like, he had probably like 18 fantasy points after the first quarter, the other 3. That was definitely disappointing. Evan Mobley's been awesome for the Cavs. He's 67. He gives you big upside still, so I will look to him in tournaments. But maybe in cash games, you look to like Wendell Carter Jr., who never really gets that much ownership. Mo Bamba absolutely exploded, and he was a great play on FanDuel at center yesterday for us. But Wendell Carter Jr. has also been surprisingly very productive. You know, it's not often you see 2 centers start alongside each other and they both have very good games, but for the most part, Wendell Carter's been as consistent as Mo Bamba. 37, 40, one game where he just had 23 against Miami, which is a really tough spot, but 33, 35, and then 27 against the Spurs, where he only played 19 minutes to start. But since they've been giving him big minutes, matchup against Detroit is a really good one. That front court with Stewart, they're going to have to start somebody else. He's probably matched up against Jeremy Grant, who will have a big size advantage over. So Wendell Carter can get you a double-double in limited minutes. Not in limited minutes, but he can get you double-double with these, possibly getting you close to 40 fantasy points at $5,800. And that's like the main piece I'm looking at power forward. Wanted to go down here. Jordan Noir is okay. These are kind of just like pure pump plays. And then there's no Patrick Williams for the Bulls, so you're going to see like Javonte Green start. It's not the best spot it's a tough spot against Utah, but that would be a pure pump play if you wanted one. At center, I like Karl Anthony Towns a lot against Jokic. I like Jokic as well. You have Giannis, Jokic, and Kat as my favorite 3. Embiid is in the mix as well, but maybe he happens to rest with his knee. Embiid has not been playing as many minutes as these other guys. Like, he's gotten 31, 30, 33, 30, 26. Maybe they get him up to like 33, 34 in any sort of close game. But with Karl Anthony Towns, we've already seen him play 38 and 40 minutes the last 2. He's getting you like 5 or 6 more minutes more than Embiid. And Jokic plays huge minutes as well. Yesterday, they had to limit him to just 25 because it was a huge blowout. But he was on pace to crush once again. 16 boards in just 25 minutes. No, we always know what Giannis can bring you. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and plug in Karl Anthony Towns at $9,900. It leaves you with $6,250. But I like him. I like to get to at least an expensive center today. Sabonis is in the mix as well. And then if you wanted to go somewhat affordable, you have Mo Bamba. If you wanted to double stack the Orlando centers, You have DeAndre Ayton, who's in play at $6,500 against a big Cleveland team. And that's it for the main pieces for the sub 4K or sub 5K. I really don't see any cheap center that looks that appealing. It would be Drummond if they happen to sit Embiid, but I don't know when they will do that. But that's it for the favorite 6. I really like how this looks. I like Cade Cunningham a lot at that price tag. Hopefully he's not too popular, because even if he plays like 25 minutes, I'm expecting him to have the fire symbol next to his name. That's it for DraftKings. Let's talk about FanDuel. All right, FanDuel point guard plays. You have Steph Curry. He's 10-5. Ja Morant's 10-1. They're both playable. Curry would be a better play than Ja Morant based on the matchup. Value plays here. Donovan Mitchell looks good at only $8,100. You have SGA at only $72. I'll be getting to SGA probably on both sites. He looks great on FanDuel as well. You can play him. I think you can play him at shooting. Yeah, you can play him at shooting guard as well. So he's easy to get to. You have 4 spots that you can plug him in. For the value plays, it's TJ McConnell for me at $5,500. Jalen Suggs looks a lot better on FanDuel at only $4,900. And then Shake Milton for like a pure punt play at $41. Over at shooting guard, Jimmy Butler's up to $95. That's a little bit too rich for me. I'm not going to pay that much for Butler unless Bam happens to be out. Devin Booker's at a pretty good price tag, but this matchup is just a tough one against Cleveland. They do a good job limiting team scoring. They just have so much size and length out there that it makes it tough to for a lot of shooters, just because they're shooting over long arms the whole game. We have OG's up to 74. He's more expensive than SGA. He's really closely priced to like Russell and DeRozan. So personally, I can't pay for 74 for OG Anunoby. Cole Anthony's also very expensive at 71. Cade Cunningham is $5,000 on FanDuel, so I'm not going to be looking to get to him there. He's priced where he should be. But I'll probably get to TJ McConnell again, assuming there is no Malcolm Brogdon. You can play him at shooting guard, so that's nice, because this position isn't super deep. You don't have that many studs at the top end that are in great spots, so I really like TJ McConnell. I hope that he comes in less owned because of his kind of dud last night. Small forward, Giannis looks the best out of the group. He's always going to look the best. Anthony Edwards is $8,000. I'd probably like to get to Tobias over him at $74. You have Wiggins, you have Scotty Barnes. I like Barnes at $6,200. Just puts in a lot of peripheral stats. Sometimes he has huge assist games. He's normally going to have big rebounding games, and he can chip in with the blocks and steals as well. So Scotty Barnes at a very nice price tag. Lou Dort is $49, gives you some upside there. Joe Ingles, I like him on both sites at $47. At power forward, you can get up to Giannis if you wanted to. Sabonis is only $9,100. He looks good. Bam looks great if he plays at $7,900. And then you're looking at some of these underpriced guys. You always have some good plays in the 6K range at power forward on FanDuel. And today, you have Draymond against the Thunder. You have Evan Mobley. You have Jaren Jackson. You have Mo Bamba at 64. There's so many good plays all around. Now that we're seeing kind of Draymond get back to playing big minutes, played 37 last game. He's just been doing a little bit more after, he's only limited the first game where he said he was going to be on a minutes limit. He played 29 the first game. Otherwise, he played 33, 34, 32, 37. He contributes in all areas of the stat sheet. So he looks great at only $6,700. And then on FanDuel center-wise, you kind of have expensive guys at the top. Like Cat is 10-8, Jokic is 11. So I'd rather get to Jokic than Cat on FanDuel. And then I don't mind going a little bit cheaper at center here. 8 and a 7K. Jakob is 72, so they're priced up. But in the 6K range, you have Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba. They're separated by just $100. So in that case, give me Mo Bamba once again. I'll go right back to him. He's a little bit still too cheap for the upside that he brings you with the blocks and steals. And, putting up a huge score last night. He'll probably be a little bit more popular today, but he's still underpriced given the matchup against Detroit. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.